to 7 Days Report, your go-to source for all major news from around the world. I'm your host, Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis, and I'm thrilled to have you join us this evening. Every weekend at 12 p.m. and 9 p.m., we bring you the latest headlines, in-depth analysis, and insightful commentary on the stories that matter most. Whether you're tuning in for a recap of the week or looking for a deeper understanding of global events, we've got you covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready to dive into the most pressing issues shaping our world today. Thank you for being here with us on this journey through the news. A federal judge has decided to extend the pause on the Trump administration's plan to offer buyouts to federal employees, delaying the program until a ruling on a preliminary injunction is issued. Judge George O'Toole of the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts, who initially paused the deadline for accepting the offer, announced on Monday after hearing arguments on whether to extend the pause. The deferred resignation plan, promoted by Elon Musk, head of President Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, allows federal workers to resign while retaining full pay and benefits until September 30th. The offer was communicated to over 2 million federal employees in a January 28th email titled Fork in the Road, mirroring language Musk used when he cut jobs at Twitter. 3 federal employee unions, supported by 20 Democratic attorneys general, challenged the buyout, calling it an unlawful ultimatum. They argued the offer violates federal law, lacks funding, and doesn't assure employees that the government would follow through with the offer. The Trump administration claims the buyouts are essential to reforming the federal workforce and that further delays would be disruptive. The judge's decision prevents the Trump administration from implementing the buyout plan for now. The case remains under consideration. President Donald Trump is set to meet with Jordan's King Abdullah II at the White House amidst a contentious standoff over Trump's ambitious plan for the Gaza Strip. The proposal involves relocating nearly 2 million Palestinians from Gaza to Jordan and Egypt, allowing the U.S. to redevelop the area into what Trump calls the Riviera of the Middle East. Jordan has firmly rejected this plan, citing concerns about absorbing additional Palestinian refugees and undermining regional stability. King Abdullah has emphasized the need to halt Israeli settlement expansion and opposes any attempts to displace Palestinians. Trump has threatened to withhold U.S. aid from both Jordan and Egypt if they refuse his proposal, despite their historical roles as key security partners in the region. However, analysts argue that such pressure may not be effective due to strong opposition from Arab leaders who view accepting more refugees as a political non-starter. The meeting marks a critical moment in U.S.-Jordan relations as both sides navigate complex diplomatic tensions surrounding Gaza's future. Despite these challenges, Trump remains optimistic about reaching an agreement with both countries. In a significant policy shift, U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth has indicated that NATO membership for Ukraine is not realistic and urged Kyiv to abandon hopes of returning to its pre-2014 borders. His first meeting with NATO allies at the Brussels headquarters articulated this stance. Hegseth emphasized that resolving the conflict in Ukraine remains a top priority, but suggested that a negotiated agreement with Russia might be necessary, potentially involving non-NATO forces. He stated that any security guarantees for Ukraine should not rely on NATO membership, but instead be supported by capable European and non-European troops. The U.S. defense chief also reiterated President Donald Trump's call for European nations to increase their defense spending to 5% of GDP, moving away from the current 2% target. Hegseth clarified that no U.S. troops would be deployed to Ukraine as part of any security arrangement. This shift marks a departure from previous U.S. strategies under former President Joe Biden and reflects a broader reevaluation of global priorities by the Trump administration. A major police operation is underway in Munich after a car drove into a crowd of people near the city's main train station, injuring at least 28 individuals. The incident occurred during a labor union rally organized by Verdi, part of a one-day strike by public sector workers in Bavaria. Authorities are treating the event as a suspected attack. The driver, identified as a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker known to local authorities for past petty crimes, was detained at the scene. Police reportedly fired one shot before apprehending him. Bavarian State Premier Markus Söder described the circumstances as suggesting it was likely an intentional act. Among those injured were children, with some reported to be in critical condition. The incident comes just ahead of the Munich Security Conference, which will host prominent global leaders starting Friday. However, officials have stated there is no apparent connection between this event and the conference. As investigations continue, concerns about security are heightened following recent violent incidents in Germany. This latest incident adds to tensions ahead of next week's federal election. Top diplomats from South Korea, the United States, and Japan are set to hold their first trilateral meeting since Donald Trump began his second term. The meeting takes place on Saturday, February 15, 2025, during the Munich Security Conference in Germany. South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yul engages with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Japanese Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya to discuss critical regional issues, particularly North Korea's nuclear program and economic security cooperation. This meeting comes at a pivotal time, as it marks Cho's first overseas trip following the controversial martial law declaration by suspended President Yoon Suk-yeol in December 2024. The foreign ministers aim to strengthen trilateral ties and reaffirm their commitment to addressing the North Korean threat amid growing concerns over regional security dynamics. Additionally, the recent announcement by Trump to impose a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports has raised alarms among South Korean manufacturers, making it a likely topic of discussion during the talks. Iwaya emphasized the importance of unity among the three nations in light of increasing regional tensions, highlighting the strategic partnership's significance for peace and stability. As we wrap up another edition of the 7 Days Report, I want to extend my heartfelt thanks for joining me this evening. We've covered a wide array of significant global events, and I hope you found our news insightful and engaging. Remember, you can catch us every weekend at 12 p.m. and 9 p.m. for your weekly major news from around the world. Your feedback and interactions are what make this show special, so don't hesitate to reach out and share your thoughts. Stay tuned for next week's episode, where we'll dive deeper into the stories shaping our world. Until then, take care and keep informed. This is Vasilios Nikolaos Vitsilogiannis signing off. Have a great evening.